I suddenly felt my heart rate go up, and I started sweating profusely, and before I knew it, I had blacked out. Apart from the fatigue, and I had severe insomnia all through, and I was having what are now termed as COVID dreams. So I would have very, very vivid dreams. And I didn't understand what was happening because I could feel like every day my heart rate going up. And at some point I was wondering, is this even really true? And
You're a two-time COVID survivor. We know that COVID is a mysterious illness and everyone, goes through different symptoms and suffer differently. So how was it for you the first time around? Did you expect it to be as bad as it was for you?
the first time around when I had it, it was during the national lockdown in April 2020, when there was obviously like a national lockdown, and we didn't really have much access also, or any access for that matter, to private testing or private hospitals. So my only source, obviously, for access to treatment was the government setup. Um, um, I think for me, the struggle started with just getting a test. And after I'd written a thread about my symptoms and about not getting the test, that's only when that thread went viral, I got a test. The test in itself was negative, but I was referred to another tertiary hospital in Hyderabad, another government tertiary hospital, where I was told that I was clinically positive for COVID. I had pneumonia in my lungs, but they asked me to isolate myself at home. I managed to sail through, thankfully. But I mean, I did have fever for 15 days. The fever lasted for over 15 days. And I had terrible night chills and I would sweat suddenly. And I think the isolation was just nerve wracking for me.
If I'm not wrong, then you got better around May, June-ish, and then you collapsed, right?
I think after the 21 days, it took me a while, but I sort of got back to work sometime mid-May. And I was fairly doing okay apart from fatigue. And all the doctors were telling me that this is normal after a severe viral illness. There will be some fatigue, so don't worry about it. Just eat healthy. And they asked me to, uptake my protein intake. My vitamin B12 had dropped drastically, so I was on those supplements. So May and June, I was fairly okay in the sense, apart from the fatigue, and I had severe insomnia all through. And I was having what are now termed as COVID dreams. So I would have very, very vivid dreams, vivid nightmares. And in fact, it still continues even now. I think for me, July was when, like, I call it my crash happened. I went down to buy vegetables, and I was like, oh, let me just go do something on my own. And I just went down to pick up some vegetables. And on the way back, I suddenly felt my heart rate go up, and I started sweating profusely. And before I knew it, I had blacked out. Like, I could sense that I was going to collapse, and I blacked out near the lift. There, the doctor said that my blood pressure was really low, and they put me on some ORS and stuff and told me to just take care of myself. Um, yeah, and I didn't understand what was happening because I could feel like every day my heart rate going up. And at some point I was wondering, is this even really true? And that's when I contacted a cardiologist. The cardiologist asked me to get the usual 2D echo, the ECG, and all of them came normal except for like some swelling around my um, heart. And then she said that, because I had a prolonged fever, it could have been caused by that. But she wasn't really believing me when I was telling her that I could feel the tachycardia, like I could feel the palpitations. And she thought that it was actually anxiety. She thought that I had COVID anxiety, and she told me to just rest and drink lots of fluids, and she put me on some supplements. But then this continued, and I kept blacking out. So every time I would change my posture, I would black out, or I would be sitting and watching something on TV, and I would sense my heart rate go up, like, and I would start having shortness of breath. I wouldn't understand. It would feel like I was running a marathon, and I was like, what's going on? So I then again contacted the cardiologist, and I asked her, listen, this cannot be anxiety, because I sort of know what anxiety is. So could it be something else? Are there any other tests that you can do? And then she said, okay, let's get this Holter test done. And which is like a 24-hour ECG. So they basically strap a machine onto you, and then for 24 hours, it monitors the heart rate. And in that, they found that my heart rate spiked 163 or 165 times. And in fact, I had her asking me, were you exercising? And I was like, I have no energy to exercise because the fatigue continued. So all this was happening even as a fatigue was there. And this was what, 3 months or 2 months after the COVID had hit me. Um, but she didn't really give me any answers. She just went back to saying the same thing: uptake your salt intake. This could be because of post viral, you will feel better. And then again, she went back to saying I could be having anxiety. And, I mean, it was just very disheartening because I was like, am I losing my mind sort of a situation? And that's when I got myself a smartwatch to sort of keep track and keep data for myself. So yeah, that's what happened in July of 2020 for me. Actual breakthrough only happened in September. I heard about this doctor in Bombay who was treating post-COVID, and I reached out to him through a fellow journalist friend, and he suggested a very good internal medicine specialist here in Hyderabad, where I live. And I reached out to him, and I went to him, and I told him, this is what has happened. These are all the tests I've gone through. The cardiologist thinks it's anxiety, and he goes, okay, so so she thinks it's anxiety. How did she help you? I was like, well, she just asked me to drink water and take supplements. And he said, no, let's run some more tests. And he ran some more tests, and one of the tests revealed really, really high levels of adrenaline for me. It was pretty high. It was so high that the diagnostic center actually asked me if I was taking any performance enhancing drugs. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because it was just very strange. And the internist sort of explained to me that maybe my body was stuck in a flight and fight mode. Like, because of the virus, my body still, or either it had left reservoirs behind. And remember, this was all in like September 2020, when like research on long COVID or post COVID was just trickling in. I mean, we got a definition for it only on October 6th from WHO, right? I mean, it was just really frustrating for me, but I was like, okay, I'm somewhat closer to some answers. And then he put me on some medicines to sort of control the heart rate. Because I barely could walk. Even if I walked a bit, my heart rate would go up and I would feel lightheaded. And this was September. October, November, December were fairly okay months for me, apart from the fatigue, by which time doctors had started suspecting that I probably had entered the chronic fatigue stage, the chronic fatigue syndrome stage, CFS. But they weren't really saying it, like they weren't really writing it down. They were orally telling me all this, right? So I was like, okay, something's not still right. Like, I could feel my body was not right. My menstrual cycle was completely messed up. I had never had such such horrible, painful periods. I mean, firstly, I think my periods skipped for 1 month. And when they did come, it was really horrible. It was really painful. I don't want to give too much information. But it was very scary, so scary that I had to go to the gynecologist, and she told me that this was happening to a lot of women who had contracted COVID. And I had to be put on medicines for that. And it didn't really rectify itself for a really long time. I mean, it took some time for it to rectify itself. Yeah, so that's where it was at in for all of 2020. And Jan, I again started feeling really unwell. Like, the fatigue increased. I would randomly start sweating. So for example, the reason I asked you, can you hear the sound of the fan in the beginning, is because I need 2 fans now at all times. Because otherwise I start sweating, even like just normal amount of, even if the temperature is 20 to 23, I will still sweat. Or I will be sitting in the AC and I'll still sweat. So I was like, there is something really going off. Like, why is my body not regulating temperature? I was having severe migraines. The brain fog was crazy. And then the fainting spells increased. Like, every time I would change position, I would faint. And I would end up hurting myself. So this happened multiple times. And in March, I went back to my internal medicine specialist. Jan, I had a review. March, I again went back to him. And this time he said, listen, I think you have what is known as autonomic dysfunction or dysautonomia, where the autonomic nervous system, which basically controls your breathing, your heart rate, your bowel movement, your digestion, everything gets affected. March, after I was hospitalized, I was in the hospital for a couple of days. And that's when they sort of came to the diagnosis that I had this dysautonomia and something specific in that called postural orthostatic hypertension syndrome. So it's called POTS, so POTS. And unfortunately, in April, I got COVID again. I mean, I was advised bed rest all of March because I was put on steroid therapy, and I was told that because I was suspecting if it was an immune mediated thing. They started suspecting that my immune system was basically an autoimmune reaction. My body was fighting against itself. So they were trying to see if they could negate it with steroids. And I was on steroid therapy, and I had become immunocompromised because of that. And unfortunately, in April, COVID entered our house, and basically the entire household got it. My family, my parents, my in-laws, all of us, my daughter, all of us got COVID, and it was pretty bad. I was okay for the first 7 days, in fact. And I was in fact monitoring everybody and making sure that they were all right, their SpO2 and everything. But on the 7th day, my SpO2 crashed, and this was at the peak of the second wave. It was very difficult to find a hospital bed, and I needed an ICU. So I was in an ICU for 8 days. Another really, really horrific and horrible 8 days that I spent. Saw stuff that I will not wish upon anybody, or one of my worst enemy I'll not wish upon, the kind of stuff that I saw. But yeah, I think there were a couple of days there in those 8 days where I wasn't sure if I would make it. So yeah, I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I made it through. But in terms of treatment, I mean, I'm on medicines. I'm on medicines for controlling my blood volume. And I have to be on a high salt diet, so 8 grams of salt. I also did see a lot of videos put up by Dysautonomia International, which is a non-profit that has been working on POTS for many years now. And so, yeah, I've been sort of doing my own research, reaching out to patients. I'm part of an Instagram group with other POTS patients, and, learning to manage it on my own. So, yeah, because it doesn't seem to be a very well-known condition here in India. I mean, at least, and the only thing they will tell you is that wear compression stockings, drink water, try to do exercise. But in some cases, exercise can actually worsen it. So, I have to be careful in that sense. Like now I know I can do like 20 minutes of exercise. So yeah, it really depends from person to person. And I think I got more information from these different groups, frankly. Yeah. It's really frustrating to navigate the system, right? Because at one side, I have a lot of empathy to what the doctors are going through. I know what's happening within the COVID ICUs, within the COVID wards, having been there and survived it. But then what happens to the next epidemic of the long COVID patients who are just beginning? This is just a beginning stage for India, I think, and I know of people, in other who are coming joining the group from smaller towns, or from across the country. And they are saying कि यहाँ पे तो दे post COVID के बारे में कुछ पता ही नहीं है, तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं? So I send them resources. So, I keep putting resources in it, and I say, go and tell them this, show them this, advocate for yourself. Like, tell them that ये हो रहा है COVID के बाद. And yeah, it's not easy.
We are truthful, unafraid, and independent because of you. Now you can help our reporting from the ground. Go to thequint.com, click Become a Member tab, choose a plan and pay. Because the truth is worth it.